Yes, sir, Andy. It is beautiful out this morning, wasn't it? Sunrise was beautiful. It's still beautiful. It's only 7:30. We're here 7:30 again this week. Everybody, it is Monday morning, February 6th. We're a little early this morning, so was that a corporate decision or we just are here? Like I said, it's beautiful this morning, mid-40s, 50s later on in the week. And, of course, the big news is back east. It is a weather typhoon, a weather vortex. Polar quakes are going on. They're record-breaking cold. Snow, wind again, nor'easters, nor'westers. It's like the day after back east. And I never worry, Andy. I mean, I will be honest. I never worry about people per se. I always worry about the animals. So, everybody, I hope they are being safe. Like I said, Montana, we've had a strange negative 50s and stuff in November. And it's just weird. Weird. Tell you, Andy, weird. We're going to talk about weird, all right. I was at Walmart last week, and eggs are a good source of protein. I like scrambled omelets, cheese omelets, brunch. Everybody, let's go to brunch and have scrambled eggs. Well, I bought a 36 pack of eggs at Walmart. It's over $16. I got it chained up like the cosmetic department. Lock and key on everything. It's eggs. And like I said, brunch for you brunchers. For us brunchers, oh my goodness, it's just so expensive. Well, one of the major reason egg prices are like going out of control is that there's a shortage of eggs too, and that's because there's the bird flu. That's avian influenza. And while actually the outbreak happened just under a year ago, that's according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. They said it happened over almost a year ago. We're only just feeling it now. Basically, the flu has affected over 57 million birds in both commercial and, the backyard flocks, the home farmers. Amy, can we have chickens in Great Falls? Anybody want to let me know if we could? So if you do, that's who they're talking about, the smaller farms that aren't big commercial. It's resulted now in a depopulation of over 50 million egg-laying hens, which means fewer eggs are being produced. Okay? The disease itself is very contagious. It's a deadly virus. And even here in Great Falls, we've seen dead geese, dead birds on the frozen Missouri River, complaining about it. Why are all the birds dead? Why someone can't go get them? Well, there you go. It affects us. All birds, eagles, falcons, condors, whatever's out there is flying. And it can transfer to other species. Great, Andy, bird flu. Bird flu at 11. However, even though we have a bird flu and a depopulation, that's not entirely what is to blame, okay? You can't just say, well, that's it, because there's other factors there, and you know it, and I know it. We watch the news, we read the news. Inflation, the big I word. Higher cost of bird feed, higher cost of packaging, higher cost of utilities to run the farms. Gas prices are higher. They're all driving the price up because everything across the board is now more expensive because of inflation. Thanks, Joe. What? I said I'm having a cup of Joe. Also, do I personally think that big corporates like Walmart and Kroger's and Albertsons see the egg shortage and the egg crisis and people buying eggs just another reason for them to jack up, rise their egg prices, and gouge the average consumer? Well, of course I do. Geez, Andy, what kind of question is that? Of course I do. That's what corporations do. Speaking of corporations, like for example, did you, Andy, see this weekend that Shell Oil posted its largest profits in the company history with around $42 billion in profits. Not to be outdone, ExxonMobil, you know those ExxonMobil guys, our buds, they recorded record-breaking, history-breaking profits themselves, outdoing the $42 billion by Shell by posting $56 billion profits. The oil companies, shit, they're so good. They're doing so good, making so much profit. They don't need lobbyists and congressmen anymore. They're laying there off. See ya, we don't need ya. So if you're going to blame higher gas prices, and they're bragging about record profits in history of the company, I'm thinking place to, blame where it goes a little bit there, maybe. A little bit, maybe. Now, we were talking about eggs, and the egg shortage is not just the only shortage. The food shortage, the food chain, we've all seen it. We've all seen toilet paper. We've all seen children's medications off the shelf. I'm addicted to nasal spray, right, Andy? I go through Africa. Hey, yeah, I can smell now. No, I can't. I haven't smelled anything since the 80s. Okay? And there's none on the shelves. There's a shortage of everything. So, why is there a food chain shortage? Why is there a food shortage? And when we do have stuff, the prices are off the freaking charts. Well, besides inflation, or even say that inflation is the main driving factor, there's three things more that you got to consider that kind of feed off and bounce off of each other, okay? And I wrote these down so I wouldn't forget them, Andy. First of all, there's a shortage of labor and people not wanting to work. You all have complained about it in Facebook. I've seen it all the time. People don't want to work. Not only do people not want to work in your restaurant, people don't want to work in the fields picking grapes and for your wine and lettuce for your salad, because that's usually your migrant workers, and now we don't want them in the pub. Okay. Second is there's a legitimate food shortage globally, driven in part by the war in Ukraine. And don't think it's not a world war, because it is. And third is that means, the first two, that there's a limited supply chain capacity. We don't have the truckers. We don't have the rail. We're not utilizing water. And remember, all three have been pushed. All three of those things I mentioned have been pushed to the max. Supply chain, all of that, because what? It's only 2023? And I don't even know what freaking year it was. I thought, man, January was like, what, 18 months long? All of this is due to, we just had the pandemic, inflation, higher gas prices, shortage of truckers, shortage of fruit and vegetable pickers. People don't want to work slaughterhouses anymore. So we're seeing what we are, Andy, and everybody. We're seeing is a shortage in all aspects of our food, of our food chain. We're seeing a shortage in our sources of ingredients, just the raw materials. We don't have people to pick the fruits and vegetables and the things I just mentioned. So second of all, that would slow down production. Once your production is slowed down, then we have a slowdown of processing and packaging, which means limited storage, less product going to your distributors. It all ties into the equation. It's just not so easy to say. The food chain is a chain. And ours is broke, the global is broke in several links, not just one or two. Don't forget now, last summer, we had droughts in the United States. We had droughts that were just like dropping the water in Lake Mead, draining it. They like finding hit guys that were hit and people that drowned years ago, lost cities of Atlantis. Did they find a coffin, Andy? When they did not. Or is that classified? And it's in Pence's documents? Biden's? Trump's? Who? Okay. So, we have droughts. We have supply issues. It's not America. Record droughts are recorded in Britain, France, Italy. Fruit was dying on the trees in Italy. Russia, okay. China, you've been watching the news. China's been racked with their own virus problems. Lack of production. Not only is it bad in all these countries in America, but you remember our food supply and our food chain and everything we eat, we're a global economy. Now, let's throw in the fact now that we got all of this going. Now, we live in America. Put in the fact now that the food kills people every year. Salmonella come to visit, Legionnaire's disease, botulism have all caused food chain problems in one way or another. Be it a restaurant, be it on the shelf, buying some lettuce, other things like that. The consumer puts himself at risk. The news tells us it does. We're reluctant to buy. Do you remember the peanut butter crisis with Jif peanut butter a while back? I will never eat Jif peanut butter again. Ever. I don't care if they fixed it or not. You screwed up once. I just won't. I eat Skippy now. So Inflation is the equals food shortage. Is that it? Not so fast, cowboy. Did you know that America wastes about 40% of its food per year? That's an estimated. That's a fact. That's an estimated 125 to 160 pounds of food that they just throw away, goes to waste. Most of it is perfectly edible and nutritious. Losses, variety of reasons. Bad weather, poor production, leftover food, restaurants, from grocery stores. The price of the leftover food that we throw away is a staggering $218 billion a year. And what the most startling of all that is it's purposely being kept from people that need it for the most part. Fast food chains purposely lock their dumpsters so people can't eat the food, and not because they're selfish pricks, but because if you eat it and get sick, you'll sue them. Okay? So they throw them away and lock them up instead of taking plates and boxes full down to the homeless. The same with grocery stores. Now, I know that some grocery stores donate to the homeless, but it's a small fraction what they actually throw away. And of course, they throw it away. It's a $218 million. That's a lot of food we're throwing away that they could use. I think the most startling thing that I was reading this weekend, Andy, when I was doing a little work on this, research on the story, this food chain problem. Everybody's pointing this and they're pointing fingers, but I think the most startling thing about the whole food chain, and remember, we're a global economy at large, so that's, China and all the other Africa, everybody that goes in foods, is that we've reduced every living thing on the planet to some sort of commodity with no regard to its status or anything on this planet. Wool, silk, leather, suede, fur, ivory, goose down for your pillows, horns, antlers. Globally, everything's on the food chain. Everything. Birds, insects, mammals, amphibians, fish, snakes, lizards, pets. Yeah, pets. In China and other Asians, and dogs and cats are boiled alive in the market. Or imagine an electric rod shoved up your pet's butt, electric, while they're skinned alive. That's what they do in foxes in other countries. Now, I'm not getting all PETA and all vegan on you right now, but as a species, as people, we don't realize and we don't care what happens to anything around us. Except politics, of course, Andy, right? But the way we do it, we've reduced everything to a wallet, a belt, a sandwich, purse. We talk how arrogant that we're the only species that has feelings and emotions and a soul. And now, by a soul, and Andy and I were talking about this earlier. By a soul, don't confuse religion here with soul. I'm saying that all living creatures have some kind of a spirit and soul. Ever owned pets? Ever worked on a farm? Worked at a zoo? You'll know exactly what I'm saying. And elephants, penguins, they bond for a lifetime. They marry for life, basically. Orcas, dolphins. Dolphins, they say, are smarter than us because they have a larger brain mass than us. And everybody's like, oh, if they're so smart, why don't they fight back and kill us? We have opposable thumbs, dumbass. Pets and animals play, they interact, they show intelligence, they bond with each other, they bond with humans. Pigs have the intelligence of like a 5-6-year-old child. That's why it's so dangerous to work a slaughterhouse floor killing pigs, because they know what's coming, they don't want to die. And primates. Oh, well, evolutions, they're not us. Yeah, they are. And we've reduced everything to, a commodity. So it's a shame. I think that animals do have a soul. I've looked in their eyes. They can love. Oh, but they're wild. Right. Everything we eat on the planet's last moments in life are fear. That's the way it is. And that's, as a species, that's how we do things right now. Sometimes I just sometimes I wish that aliens would show up and use us for food source. So we'd know how it would feel. Aliens show up, all right, everybody's, food. Oh, but we're human. And we have feelings and emotions and a capacity to love. So does my dog. Plus, I don't think aliens, Andy, would have a hard time finding us with the Smithfield pork reservoirs. Folks, these are in the United States and China. You can see them from outer space. They're like large neon waste pools that glow on the face of the earth of pig waste. So, not only do we eat our dogs, but we destroy the environment while doing it. I'm thoroughly disgusted, Andy, with us as a species most of the time. I say it most of the time. So, we destroy everything. Strip mine, kill, eat everything. We eat everything. Everything's on the food chain. But certain people won't eat certain things. So, like, if you go to India, they don't eat cows, so you can't get, yeah, can I have a T-bone steak? What the, oh my God, you can't be. So India, they know their own, I don't think there's a McDonald's there. And if they do, they serve dogs, cats. Cats are in the markets in Italy. It's really strange. We destroy everything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We are arrogant enough to think that we are the only species that has a soul on this planet, and we're not. Again, I wish aliens would come from outer space, and they're out there, they're out there. What? Oh yeah, speaking of outer space, no Monday morning podcast would be complete with the story of the Chinese spy balloon. If you don't know, there's two of them, by the way. One's down in Latin America. I don't know what they've done to that, but As of this morning, I didn't even look, but there was a spy balloon that kind of drifted la-di-da, just wasted away, kind of going around, and all of a sudden, we're in the middle of nuclear sensitive areas. Chinese spy balloon was shot down after it traversed those sensitive military sites across North America. I mean, Andy, I took the dog out, what was it, Friday? And there they were, the big satellites kind of hovering in the backyard. Hey, Jesus, it's so close. I'm like, yeah, does that say made in China by any chance? Yep, it sure does. I was mooning it, waving, yeah, doing the Braveheart thing. Ah! I live in Great Falls, of course. That's why they were here. It's the home of the Malmstrom Air Force Base. That's the home of the 341st Nuclear Missile Wing. I've said it before. My little town's a damn near nuclear power, all by its lonesome self. The Chinese spy thing, the spy balloon was shot down, off the Carolina coast on Saturday. President Joe Biden issued an order as early as Wednesday, according to the Associated Press. But he was advised and overruled that the best time frame would be to just wait and for it to move water. Bringing it down, they said, over populous areas could have rained. And I saw the footage. It was at 70,000 feet up. It would have just rained stuff down. I'm amazed how many people turned into political war experts on Facebook, but basically this was the Department of Defense's call, and they advised, and then the president does it. He just doesn't sit in his room or whatever. Yeah, I think I'll blow shit up. The balloon incident was a severe blow, the press says, to the already strained U.S. and China relations. And, of course, China denied all of it. Yeah, it was a weather balloon. It blew off course. We don't know what happened. We're sorry. It's okay. But after the Death Star was shot down and the Empire then stated it reserves the right to deal with similar circumstances in a similar way. And they deserve the right to take further actions. Turns into another political division in our country as everybody became experts on foreign affairs and warfare and all of that crap. The Death Star. There's a Death Star, Andy. I've seen politicians across the globe, or not globe, but across the country. Montana was one of them. Other states joined in. Both parties. We'll just tell our constituents to just shoot the Death Star down. It's a shame that the people that said that don't know. They're probably pro-Second Amendment and then don't know how guns work. You can't shoot a gun 7 miles up in the sky and bring down the Death Star. You need laser beams, all of that kind of stuff. That's what you need for that. But it was a fiasco. There's another Death Star. They tracked as it went over, and they said we were gathering information on it gathering information. I think the hilarious thing is that anybody with any brains can get on Google and find the location of all of our nuclear weapons, all the silos, pretty much all the Russians. You don't need a Death Star. You don't need a balloon. Kind of cool though seeing a Death Star. I'd have painted it black. Of course, the news every night. Now that China's doing the balloon thing, I guess they've kind of entered the war in Ukraine. I mean, it's just dragging on. The whole world's like joining in. Now China's involved. They just kind of la-di-da, yeah, we're ballooning in. Putin's again threatening nuclear weapons. Parliament's doing it. We're doing it. We're sending tanks. China, it's almost like World War II. It's like the whole world's, they're all on sides and getting in for different reasons. It's getting scary. And that's and so that it's, you know what that means. You need to be hyper vigilant, stock up. I mean, I live in Great Falls. If there's a nuclear strike, they're going to hit my backyard. I mean, I live like, I can damn near, I can't see the Air Force Base, but it's pretty darn close. So I live in a place where duck and cover will not do any good. But the rest of you need to keep with your duck and cover drills because, of course, hiding under a desk will save you. So in New York, everybody go inside, duck and cover in your closet, stay there until further notice. Everybody else, learn to duck and cover on your drill. Keep your drills up because you never know when there'll be a tornado or hurricane, a drought, dinosaurs, or nuclear weapons. Remember everybody spay and neuter? Adopt, don't shop. Kiss your dogs. Get out there, foster and rescue. Have a great February 6th, Monday. Get out there and make some moolah. We'll see you next week. Andy, we're done? We are done, you say? We're done. All right. Till next Monday. We're out of here. Hope you can find some food, McDonald's food, in the food chain, right? Everybody, all right, let's go to McDonald's right now. All right.